Hey, y'all. So, something I kind of want to get into, some music that I was exposed to that I thought, oh, this is really interesting. I started following the thread, pulling the thread, and it has been teaching me a lot. So, today, I want to talk about Nigeria. Go on, hop up on your soapbox. Ba-da-da-da. So, here's how it goes. I'm driving down I-75 in Atlanta, right? Main thoroughfare, lots of people, lots of fancy cars, lots of traffic. On the NPR radio station, I hear an interview with an artist named Burna Boy. Now, I do want to mention this. Burna Boy is not his given name. He is Damini Ebunoluwa Ogulu. And he's a Nigerian artist, and he's become sort of a heroic figure for Nigeria. He is from a river city in Nigeria, which I believe is the capital and the most populous state in that area. And what's happened there, he's raising awareness through his 6th track on the album called Whiskey. Now, this was the song that was featured on the NPR interview, and I don't want to take up a whole lot of your day. I actually want to direct you towards something here. So they mentioned the song Whiskey in this NPR interview, and I thought, oh wow, that sounds really good. It goes sort of like, I fall too easy, and I pour the whiskey. But no be disability, oh, no be disability, oh. I fall too easy, and I pour the whiskey. But no be disability, oh, no be disability, oh. So he's saying, it's a really interesting song here. He's saying, I fall too easy, and I pour the whiskey, but not because I have a disability. And so when you start listening to the lyrics of what he's talking about, this man he's raised my awareness of what has happened in Nigeria. They're facing historic flooding, insane flooding in some areas, infrastructure collapse. You're talking about drought in some areas, how people are praying for rain and the rain doesn't fall, and then other people are getting rain that never stops. It's sort of like, sounds familiar, doesn't it? To me, this is illustrating what's going on with climate change, y'all. That the first people that are going to be affected by this are the most impoverished, the people who need the most help. And these atmospheric rivers, these hurricanes, these tornadoes, these earthquakes, this is not a coincidence. The planet is changing, and the first people that are going to face the brunt of it are the poorest people. There are well over 1 million people in River City, I believe. I think it's almost over 2. So that's a very large population. And so what Burna Boy is pointing toward with this song is actually a short documentary that he made about this situation. So I encourage you, we're going to put the link up here for you to go and watch and educate yourself. So Burna Boy made this short documentary about what's going on. These people are suffering. These people are dying. There are some heartbreaking stories about people drowning in these waters, about businesses just falling apart. And the truck drivers are being accused of being criminals because they can't drive their trucks on these roads. The trucks are literally tipping over. And I mean, it's just astonishing. There's a heartbreaking story of a woman who lost her son. And she's saying, I came into this place with my son, and when we leave, I'm going to leave empty-handed. It's absolutely incredible. It's heart-wrenching. And this is what I love. Good on Burna Boy for raising awareness. I've heard, and I just recently read this in a book on improvisation, that all teachers only really have one job, and that is the pursuit of heightened awareness, of greater and greater awareness. Now, there are a couple of things you can do. I want you to watch that documentary, and I want you to see how you feel about the situation. I want you to listen to Whiskey, and I want you to see how you feel about that situation. Not only are they dealing with the environmental insanity, the flooding, and look at their roads. The roads are absolutely trashed, and people are really struggling. But they're also dealing with pollution, that the burning of petrol and diesel is causing the air to turn black, and that when these people wake up in the morning, they cough into their hand, and then their palm is black. There's a shot of a man running his hand across a car, and there's a streak left there. There's black soot on everything, and there is black soot in these people's bodies. So what's going on here? Is this how we live? Is this what we do? We have to come up with something better than this. We have to find a way out of this. And this is where music becomes a very, very powerful spearhead or antidote to our current way of living, which for a lot of these people isn't living at all. It makes any little problem that I have or any little problem that we here in the U.S. have, that those minor pesky situations seem like nothing. Now, don't get me wrong. Atlanta's got plenty of issues we're dealing with, particularly when it comes to the environment or police brutality. I'm going to go ahead and say this right here. Stop Cop City. Stop Cop City. And if you want to know more about that, research it. We just had an environmental activist, Tortuguita, get killed here in Atlanta because of trying to protect forest from becoming a play place for people who are gun crazy. These police that want to learn how to squash civilian protests. Is fascinating. Do your research. Atmospheric rivers are pounding down in California. The West has no rain. The Okefenokee Swamp here in Georgia is about to start getting drill to find that titanium ore. So there's a lot of pollution, environmental degradation, social unrest, political upheaval, and I'm not going to pretend like I know it all, but I just was driving down the road. I heard this NPR interview. Burna Boy reached me. So the next thing I know, I'm figuring out ways to donate what I can to the situation in Nigeria. And you should do the same. So there are a couple organizations. Follow R.E.A.C.H Nigeria on Instagram. That is responsible engagement through awareness and community help. Follow them and do what you can. Then there's also the R.E.A.C.H, which is another community and volunteer-based organization that is aiming to feed people and ease the suffering of people in Nigeria. That's reach every available communal household. And if you can give $12.50, you can absolutely give $12.50 to that organization. So what Burna Boy's music has done is inspired in me the want to not just help people in distant lands who are dealing with catastrophes, but people who are in my own city who are dealing with catastrophe, loss, the threat of environmental destruction, the threat of police presence. It's unbelievable what we're doing. We are going to tear down old growth forest in Atlanta on what used to be a plantation so that we can build a mock city for police to practice tear gassing civilians. Really, really interesting. All this to be said, music can be a form of activism. It can ignite that fire within you. And it's not enough to just sit in your car and keep pumping out exhaust into the environment and go, oh, this song sure is good. This Burna Boy song sure is good. I'm sure if Burna Boy knows that you heard the song, he's going to want you to do some shit about it, right? Am I wrong? And hey, Burna Boy, if you ever find yourself in Atlanta, love to sit down for an interview. Man, so I got some questions for you. And that NPR interview was fantastic. So I encourage you to go listen to Burna Boy's album. We're going to put the link here for the short documentary. It's only about 16 minutes. It should be longer. Just split open your eyes a little bit more so that you see a little more horizontally the other people in the world and what's going on. This is our responsibility. We have to take up action. And I know a lot of people out there probably already are, and that's good. As Ram Dass said, we're all just walking each other home, right? And what you care for in this life is going to care for you on the other side. You care for nothing, you will not be cared for. Hate to tell you. So go listen to the album, watch the documentary, leave a comment in the comment section. This one, I may actually read them. And if you don't like it, tough.